Open the door and make sure she didn't choke on that.
We are recording. So tonight, our theme, because we just had the new moon on Saturday, we're now at waxing moon. Our topic for tonight officially is what was I going to say? I totally lost my train of thought. Visualizing goals. And Rotassi is here. Yay! I'll say right there. Yeah, okay. All right, and here we go. We just started.
And we're going again today. What? You've got super cute shoes.
Oh.
I'm 2 for 2 with you.
Well,
love it.
Okay, all righty. So, hi.
Hi.
So how was your salad?
Okay. So, waxing moon, we just had new moon on Saturday. Before we get into visualization, does anybody have questions?
Okay,
Hi.
so we learned about it a little bit many moons ago. And so when we were talking about how we speak differently, like money, we give thanks for money, and then we had to the way we speak, past tense and present tense. Can we talk about that again? Or
I remember.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know what she's talking about?
You're not putting it out there in a begging or asking fact. Please get this because right then you're putting out to the universe that you're not going to get it. When you're asking something, if you're clearing, I give thanks for clearing away poverty thoughts. I give thanks for the new abundant thoughts that flow through me. I give thanks is the most powerful part of changing what's going on. Because you're saying right off the bat, I don't know how, I don't know who, but I know I'm going to the answer.
Okay. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And then I think it was you that said.
See? You needed to be
I
here.
think it was me that said it.
She was saying it.
She
but
was
I
okay.
remember.
Okay.
Okay.
You were sitting next to each other. I
By
knew
the way,
it was this part of the room.
that's why I remember. If I had said it, I wouldn't remember. But so if we're wanting to let go of something, then at the time of moon is a great time to be like, yeah, thank you, see you later. If we're wanting to let, like you were talking about, Mary, that sometimes we're wanting to let something go at full moon or during a waxing moon. And so there's a way to flip that script.
Okay, and that's something that you said. And so if it's waning moon, you can, like you said, you can banish poverty. But if it's waxing moon, you can welcome abundance.
Okay.
Did we get it?
Let's talk about that again.
Did we do it?
Waxing. Wait.
So okay,
Well, she
so
explained it really good.
so this is how I remember the difference between waxing and waning. Waning sounds like weaning, like when a mama weans, like a cat or a dog or whatever, weans their young. Like no, start eating solid food now. So waxing, I remember as a kid, these like pledge commercials. No, waxy buildup.
Yeah.
So like, or if you want to think of like wax dripping and now it's a big clumpy mess. So waxing is like
Building,
yeah, getting bigger. So that's how I remembered, because I use word association to remember things. Yeah. So the our predecessors would plant certain, and I don't remember which ones are which, but they would plant certain like root, like a lot of underground like bulbs or root plants during certain moon phases. They would do that on purpose. And some people do that to this day. Yeah. Like you'll see that in Old Farmer's Almanac, and you'll think, oh, that's just hokum. But I mean, if it works, it works.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions about waxing moon, waning moon, new moon? No? Okay. So last week we banished, or I shouldn't say banished, released. We released things that no longer serve us. Banish is another word if you want to think of it that way. So when you want things to come in, it's a good idea to make room for them. And at the same time, you need to be specific what you're asking for. So it's a good idea to, and you don't have to be super specific. Like I want this car with that's red with pinstripes and spinners and you know what I mean, like.
Or this Maserati that was parked in the garage next
Okay. So she's gonna manifest the car.
Bring it to me.
So it's not that it's bad. It's not that like if you're like that's my goal. But I'm just saying like the more nitpicky, the more itty bitty things that you ask for. Like let's say for instance you want a 5-bedroom mansion with a golf course and a fountain and a pool, and like if you ask for all these things, and a pool boy, yeah, but so it's good to be specific, but at the same time, if this does not exist already, then the universe is like, oh boy, okay, we gotta get lumber, we gotta get contractors, we gotta build this thing. So yes, you want to be specific, but it's specific as to yes, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it make you feel like? Right. So if you are looking for a new job or a new house or
Lover.
Yes, a lover, and you don't want to be like, okay, well, that guy over there, because that guy over there might not be good for you and he might already be taken. You know what I mean? So but it's good to pick, okay, these are the qualities that I want. And then thinking of, closing your eyes and thinking about, well, how does it make you feel? So if you're looking for a new reliable car, it does not have to be necessarily specifically that brand, that color, but like, how does it make you feel? Like, okay, I have a reliable car. And so like, and seeing yourself sitting there in the car and seeing yourself getting to work safely and stuff like that. So that was my idea for our theme tonight, because if you're going to make room for things to come in, then I want to make sure you get what you actually need. So it's kind of like, not be careful what you ask for, but a little bit.
And also you said something really cool earlier today when we were discussing the topic, and she said, if you dig a hole in your backyard and you don't choose to plant the things, then whatever.
Petunias, I said petunias because
then Mother Nature will deliver whatever's closest.
Yeah, if you've ever dug a hole in your backyard and then was like, oh, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah, eventually there's some kind of cool stuff going around it that's not what you.
Or garbage from your neighbors.
Or garbage, or
yeah, like a windstorm of garbage from your neighbors will fill in your hole. So if you're going to create a vacuum on Earth, nature does not like a vacuum. In the entire universe, most of the universe is a vacuum. But here on planet Earth, Mother Nature does not like a vacuum. So she'll fill it up with whatever. And we as humans, we can tend to slip into our bad habits. So even if we do clean out our closet, metaphorically or physically, so we can go back to our bad habits and stuff more crap in our closet, not find anything again. I don't know anyone who does this. So Ms. Kath, what kind of thoughts do you have?
Have you seen Gigi? Have you seen my vehicle?
No, I've heard of the Coke cans.
Well, no, it's not the Coke cans, but my story is the opposite. I said my car died in the middle of winter. I had absolutely practically nothing in the bank. It died. I will, okay, so first the human thought is to go for the cheapest. I will thought of rent wreck, just something to get me through the winter till I can manifest it in the summer. But my meditation said, no, what do you want? And I go, kind of, do I want? And I want a RAV4. The next day when I came to work, everybody was giving me rides to work. Every place I looked, there was RAV4s all around.
Oh.
RAV4s in front of me, RAV4s. Every time I turned the corner, there was a RAV4. That was the universe saying that I could have what I wanted if I believed. 2 weeks later, I got GG. GG is short for God's grace. That's what it was.
Manifest that
But I have always wanted a RAV4, not because of the status, because I like them and I have a lot of books. And if me and my books and food can fit in the car, then that's a happy car for me. that's not my Friday. and there she was. And because I wanted it, it had all the qualities I wanted. It was that color that I wanted. When I got to the parking lot, there she was. And I was like, and when the guy told me what it would cost, I said, well, thank you for explaining to me what it will cost. Because now I know what to strive for. Because I know that I've got to do my human part. And it just happened that I ended up being happy because the person who took me driving around to look for it said, what can you afford as payment? I said, I don't want to go over $250, not really. And he gave me the down payment, so my payments were only $227. And my response was to look at the salesman and go, I'm not sleeping with you. You know how human beings, we're just going. He did that. And it was I just went to go get an idea because all the years that I've manifested homes and stuff like that, I've always said, this is what I want. And then I've always gone out to find reasonable facsimiles in the human world.
So important.
It is. But Gigi, I really wanted Gigi because in 2 weeks I had Gigi. It's on his back to work. So when you say don't be detailed, no, I didn't say she had to have pussy, but I did see her being silvery white. I wanted that. Don't ask me why. Maybe if I get caught in a snowdrift, I just want to kiss her. That's what color I wanted her. She was everything. I wanted her to be clean. I wanted her to be as good in shape as she possibly could. And I wanted to be able to afford to take care of her if something went wrong. So I ended up doing 2 years of insurance and still being able to keep the payment to where I know I'd make at least $227.
Right.
So yes, when you say you want something, you always start with thank you. And you don't say it has to be here by next Tuesday, but my mantra has always been, I receive large sums of money quickly and easily and on time, exactly when they're needed, with harm to none, for the good of all. Anything I ask for, I want for everybody else. I'm not asking to take it out. And since God is infinite, he has more than enough to use to give everybody. So.
Like Oprah. And you get a car. And you get a car.
So you want that much detail and you want to feel the joy of it, of being able to drive yourself again. Don't realize when you don't have a car, you can't just get in the car and go to Walmart. You got to call somebody. I hate that. So feeling that feeling of how it will feel, that's your breaker. That's what makes it happen. Oh my God, how will I feel when I get this $1,000? Oh my God, I will pay this and I will pay that. And you don't I got $1,000, now I got to give it away. That's really defeating yourself and really canceling out what you want. I've got $1,000. I'm going to pay this and I'm going to get that off my plate. I'm never having to see that bill come again. I mean, I feel ecstatic. And so it always comes. You can't do it half-assed. You can't go, oh my God, but what if it doesn't come? Because basically you're shooting yourself in the foot. I give it over and the universe has heard me, and I give thanks for coming in the most opportune, and especially with needing a car swift way, because I needed it right away. I can need it next week, one day.
I want to touch on something you just said. In feng shui, when you pay a bill, it's traditional to pay it in a red envelope and to give thanks, because I can pay my rent.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I don't.
It's an honor, even if you don't like the person you're paying to, but this is your responsibility, and look, you can handle it. That's what you want to feel when you're paying it. I've seen people, well, I just got some extra money and now my car broke down. And they wonder why they paid that extra money and next week their car breaks down again because they didn't get the point. The universe gave them the money, and then it happened and they had the money to, had they enjoyed it and said, oh my God, here it is, fix my car. They wouldn't need to learn the lesson they got.
I'm loving this, and I don't want to spoil what you get to share with awesome. On my check, you like check. So you've got like the signature line and after you fill out who it's to and how much the amount is. Just above it, they allowed me to like, they're like optional. You can print something if you want to print something on the checks. And I wrote celebrate your blessing. And so every time it's like every time I actually can pay this, I'm like, great, I can pay it.
And you'll always have more. You'll always have what you need. It's just if you keep complaining about what you don't have, you will always have what you don't have.
I just heard this song a friend of mine wrote, and it said the lyrics or something like, I think a little bit. I've always known Bruce the kind of person who gives everything that is needed, something like that, and you're the kind of person who's always needed everything that's given. And it was just a moment because I have a miserly person inside of me that feels like there's not enough in this world. And I've certainly done enough studies of many different things to know that I don't want to be that person and that and how to counter that and stuff. But it comes up. It's a natural go-to. I don't want to give this away. So one of the things that I love those reminders all the time of this is awesome. I've been watching Kathy do this for years. Yes, I have enough to do, and I'm like, it just, over, and I've known Kathy since I was in my 20s, so it's been so, I needed to hear it over and over and over again, like, this is how I was raised to think about money. Even that it's my money, things like that, but that energetic constriction of anything that we are wanting to express or receive, to just be watching for that. And there's not like a bunch of formulas to follow around, like how to fix it. I've noticed there's just one, and that is just like relax and get back to that space of gratitude that you were just saying.
It's really simple. It's to say, well, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know it's coming. And just like you're waiting for that G.I. Joe doll on Christmas. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know it's coming. I know it's coming. And I just feel that. And it just does. And then sometimes you can get, if it's taken a long time, but geez, I've learned enough in the 66 years that I've lived that when it does come, it comes even better than what I asked for. So now I make it, oh, come on, guys. Zip it up. I do that friendly.
You just reminded me too, like I said a few weeks ago, that this is stuff that's already happened. Like the moon phase is doing what it's doing, and therefore that energy is already present. We don't have to pretend like this is what's happening. This is
what's happening.
The general thing that's happening. So, like for example, Kathy's trying to manifest Gigi, but it's really this is the game that's being presented right now. So whatever is in each of us that's wanting, like I need more of that, whether it's self-discipline or love or peace or I don't know, money, whatever. That it's here because it's a thing that's already happening in me, and I'm aligning with that and I'm saying yes to it.
And, you know, like for me, that gives me a sense of, it's easier for me to be in that state of certainty when I can recognize that that's the deal. You know, I'm not trying to create something out of thin air. I'm aligning with something that's already unfolding. She didn't make up that she wanted that kind of car. It was like magic fairy dust inside her. Where does this come from? You know, it's something that's wanting to happen. So an example is like last night, so I've been doing research on changing my relationship to the masculine, and uh, whatever. I was watching all this stuff yesterday and like just digesting it. So I went to a concert last night, and there were lots of guys there that I didn't know, but there was a nice chunk of dudes that I did know. And so one of the things that I'm calling in is like just this fresh perspective. And I have this great family of men who are supportive and got my back, and they were like beat somebody up for me, and you know, they give me the shirt off their back, and I've walked around like many of you with thinking that I need to protect myself from the masculine, from men, and we do that through different forms of manipulation and domination and tearing them down in ways that we don't realize. I've been watching this in myself, so I'm watching it in other women, and I'm like, yeah, this happens a lot. But and certainly there are reasons why we have that, but the point is that I'm very, very curious about how to have a different relationship with that by myself and be free, be where I'm at and feel that. So I'm standing there, and I'm aware that I'm standing there in front of some rock and roll stuff going on, rock and roll stuff, and I'm like the only one dancing, and I'm a fairly attractive female, and there's some bees starting to come around, and watching the certain constrictions that can happen in me, and my desire for growing this different relationship with the masculine. Right? So all of a sudden, I mean, because I'd already written some of this down, what does that feel like? It feels like it does with my friend Jabo. It feels like it does with my friend so-and-so. It feels like it does with my cousins and my uncles and da-da-da. So what's that? I feel protected. I feel like these people are my back. They're here to watch out for me. So I realized how much I felt like, oh God, I'm dancing. Now they're coming around. I got to protect myself. And I relaxed and was like, the admiration, the cherishing energy, the respect that was actually there, the number of people that men, there were other women there as well, but like that would have my back should something weird happen, was like startling. You can't see that when you're constricted, you know. You only see like, this is the ball game I'm in now, you know, and you and this and that. So I was so overwhelmed in my heart how much love and support was actually surrounding me in that moment, and that I was free and safe. And this is just one example of like, this is something I'm wanting to grow. I have to take the action to engage it, to recognize it, to play with it. And it was like, you know, the kind of growth that you're like, yeah, I want some real growth. It was real growth, like, and beautiful and simple and easy. But what I did prior to that was, first of all, something was already happening in me, wanting to change. I want to know why this, you know, what, there's something more here for me. You know, I didn't create that. The universe created that. I don't want to do this anymore. Why is this happening? You know, over time, we all have those things. And then what I did, I researched and stuff, and then I looked at my own self. Where am I doing? Where is this happening inside? How long has this been going on? For frickin' ever? Whoa. And then I'm going to be willing to go into this environment and explore, you know? So I knew how I wanted it to feel. I wanted to feel like somebody, you know, like I feel when I'm next to one of those other dudes. And you can choose, when you're clear about that, you can choose to snap into that. Like, I don't know what it would feel like to have $1 million in the bank. I've never had anything close to that to give me that sense, you know. I think it may have some
kind of level of that feeling like I'm back, like I was saying last night, you know what, somebody to have my back. I know what it feels like to have enough money though, plenty of money, and that's for me and my lifestyle. And so, you know, having a desire or a vision for what you're wanting to step into, like just looking at the things that are, like Mary said, if it doesn't already exist, or if it's like, okay, you know, I don't know, that might be on Mars, but how are we going to get that to you? But like something that's actually already human, already a curiosity, already, that's more attainable and more realistic, and it's easier for me anyway to kind of like tune to that and go for that and stay aware of that and play with it, as opposed to trying to like figure out, okay, what are the things that, you know, I really want to change, and what do I really want to manifest? It's been cool to make that little bit of a shift, and it's been huge actually.
And there's a certain piece of literature that you had really clung on to, an author, or when you were starting to navigate this
particular topic?
Yes.
With the masculine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alison Armstrong. She wrote Armstrong. And really, I haven't read any of her books, but friends of mine were talking about it. One of them, a good girlfriend of mine, works in a meditation organization. She lives in Norway, and she now teaches this divine feminine, divine masculine stuff. And I just watched some of Alison Armstrong's interviews, and then I was just digging around a little bit, like following the golden thread, you know.
Yeah.
And then I wrote some stuff down for myself, not just listening to it. And like, that's interesting. I'm like, I want to know where this is happening. Yeah, cool. So maybe she'll do a cool thing with that particular subject matter. Yep. Perfect.
But and something you talked about growing up, your thoughts about money that were passed on to you. During lockdown, Heather Ashamara, and if you're not familiar with her, she's written quite a few books. We normally have them here, but I don't think we have any books right now. So she was gracious enough to, like, for people that were unemployed, you know, that she gave like huge discounts on her classes, and she did live classes. And I learned from her about the programming that we have as children, especially women, the programming that there's lack. There's not enough. There's not enough good men. There's not enough money. There's not enough safety. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. And I don't think our parents did it on purpose. You know, they probably learned it as well, you know, and then I think sometimes it's just easier to say to your kid, when your kid's like, Mom, can I have it? 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 Right? And you're like, it's probably just easier. I'm just saying, yeah, I don't have human children, but I'm imagining that it's just easier to say, well, we can't afford it, rather than, you know, saying no.
Just plain
I'm imagining that's very common as well, to say we can't afford it. And so then that small child, you know, learns, oh, there's not enough. And then other things happen, and I think it gets passed on. And so I think we're all struggling. It's not just not just you. I think we're all still struggling. Some of us more than others, maybe, but with that whole idea of money and lack.
Yeah, and I mean that plays out in every area of our life. It's not just money. Like, is there enough for me to be good enough and worthwhile in this world?
Yeah, they're not good enough.
You know, is there enough? There's not enough great kind of love for me. There's you know, like,
yeah.
There's not enough cool. You know, there's not enough of the right kind of job.
Yeah.
Or there's not enough time to go explore that. Or
Yes.
there's not enough.
Yeah,
like,
it's amazing.
I don't have enough energy for that. I don't
It was very eye-opening to me.
It's so fun. It's so fun to like dig into some of this stuff.
not just to learn about it, but to look at yourself and be like, and then not stop there, because a lot of times people are like, there, I have to work on that. Just know, like, what the next step is. I've just heard so many women, especially, we go, I'm working on that, right, Kathy? We've heard so many people say, Kathy will be like, you knock it off. She'll tell them right away. Cut it out. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say them.
It's not so much that, it's just that you never let yourself, you're working on this and you're working on this, and pay absolutely no attention to what you've already accomplished. You keep, no matter how much you've grown, how much sturdier you've gotten, never once acknowledge that. And that's been my grandmother out in me, and I just want to start slapping. That's what my grandmother would. I'm not going to carry you when I'm old. You're going to have to take care of me. You can't be thinking stupid stuff. And I hear her voice say that. And I hear my grandmother wasn't rich, but she lived a rich life. And everybody in our neighborhood still to this day remembers Miss Chapman, because Miss Chapman was real. That's the most thing that they say. She was real. She'd talk about God, and she'd talk about spirit helping you, but she'd also give you legitimate ideas of how to have it happen. And I can't count on my toes and hands how many times I hear her say, and you did nothing good this day? Nothing? You just all this bad shit? Well, I'm amazed you're still standing. You must be one dumb cookie. All that happened to you and you're still standing. You haven't killed anybody? It's just when you have that, when you hear that, failure just isn't an option. It just isn't.
She started a dawn train.
That's okay.
I love that though, Kathy, because that is at the place that I used to stop. I just stopped in the grind, and just stuck around in the grind. This is awesome. Let me do this now. Like, that's a different thing.
Look at what I've done. There's a big difference between being healthfully happy with yourself and walking around like, you don't fart. There's a big difference.
Well, and can I touch on that? I think that also goes back to when we're younger, when we're young and we're told, I can't think of like specific things, but we're little things here and there when we're young ladies, when we're young kids, and be quiet, don't cause a fuss, don't draw attention to yourself, those sort of things. Like don't be reasonable, and then but men can just, and I don't want to like hate. I'm not hating on men, but somehow or another in our society, it's okay for men to kind of be like, look what I did, whereas women feel like, oh. So I think we have programming there too, that we need to shed.
The reverse too, where men don't cry, they don't show emotion, stuff like that. So we're supposed to be, women are supposed to be one way and men are supposed to be the other. Like, but women, how is that even going to work? We can't be irrational though. But we can't be irrational. Go figure that one. You're irrational. Right? Yeah, but you're right.
It's just simply that we're on it. To listen to what we've learned and then decide whether it's what we want to live. Sooner or later, we all build platforms as children. Well, I'm never going to do that when I grow up. How many of us have said that? I'm never going to say those words to my kids. Get on that bed one more time. And it comes out. Sooner or later, we have to take adult responsibility for what creates our reality. And there's nothing that we're going to want to do that everybody's going to agree with. So, like Mother Teresa and my grandmother says, you must be happy with your reality. As long as it harms no one, and it's everything in it is a free choice, then it's your reality, and you have a right, a God-given right to have it and to live in it. Two jackasses will never make a thoroughbred. They won't. You can't choose to do something because everybody else is doing it. I still got one flat ass from getting a whooping for both of me because I said, well, Susie did it, and that was not a good thing to tell my grandmother because she said, well, Susie's not mine, so you know what that, yes, because I'm gonna get a whooping from me and Susie. I'm not stupid. After a while, I pretty much give up. Oh, I did it because I did it. I lost my mind for a moment. It was fine. Those are adequate excuses. Not because somebody else. There leads to death or wishing you were dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to teach myself that all the time. It's nobody else's fault.
You made a choice.
Your choice. Yep. Don't tell me. Don't bring anybody else's name into this. Like, it's nobody else's fault. You had perfectly. Yeah. I don't care if you're just cheap first. I don't care.
Am I feeding your friends? Am I physically responsible for any of your friends? No. Am I physically responsible? Yes.
But isn't it nice to know that you're not alone when you get in trouble?
Everybody in this room got told the same
I'm doing the right thing.
and yet we still yell at you.
Oh yeah. This is my daughter, by the way. What's your name?
And then something that Kathy was talking about earlier is when something bad happens and you focus, it's just second nature to focus on this bad thing that's happened. My car is broken, whatever it is, right? But then if you can remember to like shift that, and
oh my God, it's time for me to have a new car.
Yeah. And so if you instead of thinking about, well, what's happening right now, I don't have my car. If you can skip to the end, and this is your whatever it is, car, house, soulmate, whatever it is, and that's what you pull towards you. That's it's a little tricky. And sometimes I think we all like stumble and like when something happens and it shakes us and we're like, oh, I remember. Okay. And then you remember, okay, I'm gonna skip to the end, I'm gonna pull that towards me. So when something bad happens, flip it.
I just did that this weekend. Yeah.
What did you do?
I was supposed to go camping with a friend of mine from Maui who was in the zoo. And like he just ditched me. I got north of the bridge and he just like ghosted out of nowhere.
No.
And so I was like, well, I already have these reservations to go camping at Prominent Falls. I'm like, I'm not opposed to camping by myself. It was all my gear anyways.
Wow.
Like I was whatever. So I was like, okay, I could go home. I could turn around and go home because I could clean my house and do a bunch of other things. I'm like, but I really want to go camping. It's like my first weekend, no kid and being able to do something. So I went camping by myself.
Wow.
Yeah, evidently I needed it. I found an awesome little like town and an awesome like inland lake rustic campground for the next time I go up.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Is that where you found the vegan marshmallows? No, I carry vegan marshmallows.
You
with me
carry
at all
vegan
times.
marshmallows.
She said vegan marshmallows better than regular marshmallows. Over the fire, especially with campfire. It's like jetpack, they like fall apart and like drop off your thing. Not the vegan ones. I think all together marshmallows weren't vegan. So I know.
It's just sugar.
Oh yeah, there's like gelatin kind of.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
there's
where's the animal part?
Yeah, there's force.
Okay.
I mean, I eat a lot of gelatin, but no, the Dandy's vegan marshmallows. They just taste way better anyways.
Okay.
Like real vanilla and,
Oh.
and good sugar.
I'm getting gory.
Yeah. They're good.
Uh-huh.
And I had stock on my kid left. So
I'm super proud of you. That was awesome.
yeah, it was great. I was like, I mean, I've been traveling alone by myself before my kid all the time. I was like, I haven't done at all since I had my son. So I'll go camping by myself.
Very cool.
I know how to start fires. I had pyro. Pyro phase.
I know how to start fires.
That's seriously.
Good. I mean, I have a bed built in the back of my van anyway. So, like, I took my son last year and drove across country with it. So we like just camped everywhere and had a bed I built back there. So.
Well, Rachel, you're badass.
I know.
Oh my
goodness. I have my little quirks.
Just let's all have a little bit of you.
Yeah.
Bring you out a little bit. Just a little bit.
Exactly.
So do we have any questions or anything?
Did you do a release for bad relationships on the waning moon?
No, but I think that's what I need to do. Cause okay, so I bought the cleansing candle, and ever since I started burning the cleansing candle, I've been in a funk, a bad funk, and I don't know what it is, but I know some of it's kind of like what you're talking about. I feel myself building up steel walls instead of boundaries, and I need to relax those boundaries because I'm labeling everybody as unsafe. So I need to
do you let yourself on a waning moon? I know you have to take stuff, and we have to be creative when we have things like that. But on a waning moon, that is the perfect time to do it with more power and more because just as you said, the loosening and the lessening is already working. It's nature. It is already flowing. So you can go out and build yourself a campfire. You can go out just where you would and you can express yourself. Go out there and feel everything. This is a no holds bar. If you feel crappy about it, feel the crappy about it because you're saying, I really do want to let this go. So I'm going to let myself feel this through this emotion. And if the fire starts popping, don't get scared.
Okay.
But literally just feel everything. And it's not saying a lie because after you start doing that and you say, I thank you for the lessons that it's taught me. And you can actually say that without in your little head going, yeah, it's really taught me to hate and it's really taught me that they're all assholes. Because that comes from you tamping it down and trying to pretend that you're all pretty goodness and light and that you don't feel those kind of emotions. Right. All emotions are viable, and that's when we get hurt is when we're not supposed to get angry, we're not supposed to. But it's finding a way to express that does not cause you or anyone else harm or get you in a funk. So on a waning moon, when I want to let something like that go, because I told you what I did when I got my divorce, I built that. But in order to get to that spot where I could think about not being able to protect him while I let go of all the anger, I had to feel the anger. I had to feel the hurt and the disappointment. I had to acknowledge that as a child, I said I wouldn't get one divorce, and now I've had two. I had to feel all of that, and I did. As the moon was disappearing, I let all of that go. I let it go out of me. And there were times when I thought I was going to choke to death on vomit that wouldn't come out. Sometimes it will not always be hard, but the really deep-seated stuff will feel like you're trying to up-chuck cement.
Yeah, that's what it feels like right now. With holding it down.
You've got to let it go.
I know it's a wax.
You're letting nature. It's a waxing.
Yeah.
So right now you say, well, I have to wait to know. For the
I got a fire. I literally have a fire rolling at home right now.
For the waxing moon, you have to build your strength.
Okay.
Now use the moon's growing to build your strength. I acknowledge that I have the strength to move through this. I acknowledge that I have the strength to overcome this. My past no longer defines me. Mm-hmm. I grow stronger and stronger with every moment. So let your energy, every moon, you don't have to wait. People say, well, I got to wait to get rid of it. No, whatever the moon's phase is, let it build. You need the strength. You need the conviction. I know I'm strong enough to move through this. I know I am ready to handle this. And then by the time it gets to the waning, you won't have to chop up so much cement.
Okay. Great. Should not have missed last week.
But I think that the word should.
But it was fun though. It was fun. It was fun.
You needed to be wherever
Yeah.
you were.
And I did. That's where I met you. So.
So you gotta stop with the should. If you gotta talk yourself into doing something that's pretty good idea, you shouldn't be doing it.
Correct.
Should sounds like shit.
So it is. That's right where I am right
So
now.
that you don't want to do that. How can you build yourself? You build yourself up with 2 words and tear yourself down with 10. You're going to get there eventually, but I'm getting tired just waiting for you. So I know you must not be enjoying it. Yeah, so again, use that. You know, I no longer make excuses. I no longer make excuses for that.
Exactly the word that
I move through it. I'm strong enough to handle it. God does not make junk. God created me. I am not junk, therefore.
You are welcome. Channel the party with like a map. Yeah. Come on, wait. Yeah.
Balance. When you're starting, you got to work with balance. So every time you say something bad about yourself, counter it with something good until you can achieve the balance where you are no longer drawn to do it. It's as simple. It is as simple and as complicated as that. Boy, I screwed that up. Boy, when I screw something up, I really yeah. Notice that I'm not tipping over because I did that. Yes, I did it. But I did it with finesse and attitude. I really screwed that sucker up. I nailed it. So if I can screw it up, I can unscrew it. Because if I had the strength to do that, I got the strength to do this.
It's me realigning. Like I know where my alignment is, and it's that uncomfortable transition, like where I'm here, but I know where I ought to be, where I'm going to be, like the path I should be on. And I allowed myself to go over here, and I know what I need to do to get that. It's just a matter of finding that strength. No, tapping into the strength and giving
That's
myself the
already
permission,
there.
yes, to get back there and to cut the tie. So I know what I need to do. So I needed to be here. All in divine purpose, and there is a fire going at home. I just burned the Christmas tree last night. I've been burning leaves, and the fire's been going all day. So there's no.
Darn it.
Okay, awesome.
It's kind of funny. I was just showing this picture. I actually have on my phone, and it pops up every day with waxing. I've never done that before. It's kind of funny. Like it's in there. Like I actually put it in the face.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
This is
So
a
it's
reminder.
already
This is a reminder to
in the
myself
works.
that
It's already.
which I've never done, and I took it like a scrunchy back in college. Which is like, so when you're saying like raining, now I'm wondering because I wasn't here. What was the space? And have I missed something? Have I missed it? Because there's like lots of stuff that should be going out of my world. Trust me, should be totally going out of
Waning
my
is when
world.
the moon goes away. It's when it goes away. When it starts sliver, then nothing. When you get the dark.
Well, have I missed like something that I should have been like embracing? And I'm like, oh man, I gotta
should.
wait another whole.
Oh, should there's the
Hey,
should
hey,
word,
hey.
I mean, there's just because you don't know how to define something doesn't mean it's not happening already.
Yeah, because your inner being is already connected to that. Your soul self, your higher self, has already decided that this is what's going to be, that you're going to change this. So again, that's why you have waxing on there. Because you've already made you're not creating it, it's already made.
I told her it was like a word for like this chrysalis. Just waiting for like to dry out.
Yeah.
It's already you have said it. In your strength of your higher self, it has no limits and has no issues with, did I say this wrong? It wasn't my fault. I'm not, there is nobody being on this earth that is perfect. And if you're in a relationship, then you both have certain things that you have to handle. But unfortunately, we the vagina keepers seem to think we have to handle everything. And that's really why we get so more, why men can go on and go into a next relationship. And I don't want to say that because I don't believe that all men are that way, because I know too many good men. But you will see that men don't like to be alone. They will go because they don't spend time going, I did this wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. They just go on to the next. So we women get angrier and deeper because it's all our fault. We did something wrong. We didn't, it's a personal slight. We didn't have the right haircut. We didn't have the right size boobs. We didn't have the right butt. Why do we do that? It's not. It's not. You cannot take all of the blame for being in a relationship. You can look at it in a healthy manner and say, well, you know what? I was quite, well, no, he deserved that bitch part. I went a little too far on that one. Looking at yourself and seeing where you're screwing up is not the same as destroying yourself. Oh my God, I could have been a little bit more softer. I could have been. No. First of all, none of us are 24/7 actors. So if you're wearing a mask and that's what he meets, that's what he wants. And you're not going to get anything out of it. But if we look at it and say, okay, well, we came together. It was wonderful while it lasted. I let it last a little bit too long because I let it get unwonderful. If you're trying to make something work, then it's not working. Because someone's only going to be there truly if they want to be there, not because you goaded them into it, not because you cried them into it, not because you anything else into it. But because they want to be there. And when you start affirming, I give thanks for having the perfect mate who is here because they want to be here, who is here because they see me. There is no more powerful phrase than I see you. I see you when your lashes look good. I see you when your hair is all over. I see you and I still want to be there. Now, I would rather strive for that than go and have somebody just be there because I don't want to be alone. And that's
we can be alone together.
And that's how you shift the energy without having to do anything. You say, I deserve a partner who's here because they want to be here. You've already shifted. You don't have to get a backhoe and dig 9 miles down your gut. You've already shifted. I deserve and I accept that those two have to go together. I deserve and I accept the perfect mate for me here and now.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So it's shifting the inside. It's shifting the inside and the outside as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for everything that wants to come out of you. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, and we don't realize how much how fake we are, actually.
Yeah.
You know, because we're conditioned to, even putting on an independent woman fakeness or whatever. I mean, our true vulnerability, our authenticity is immense.
Our true being is not one-dimensional. Yes, there's times when you're the soft one, and there's times when you're the one to make sure that the cement gets laid.
Yeah.
There are times when I want to be in charge, and there are times when I absolutely don't want to be in charge. We can't be whole women until we actually admit the fact that we are more than one side.
Yeah. Instead of trying to hold that, really, I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know what they meant by that, but I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to
To rock the boat.
In the beginning, you know, or oh, I really don't like that. That really rubs the wrong way about her. I really like this part, you know. And we do that and do that and do that and do that and do that. And then, like you said, then you can only do that for so long, and then
Cracks.
yeah. And then you wonder why they're not the, you know, like there's no, you're not getting what you are wanting because you've been trying to show up and do it yourself because you haven't received it because there's no space there for it, you know, like it's pretty amazing when you start to do it. And like Kathy said, I mean, there's no time for us to like beat ourselves up about any of that. It's let's be like the maturest, most present part of us goes, huh, damn. All right. Well, I want a different experience of life. And, you know, like I'm not gonna, the undermining of whatever it is that we're wanting to create in our lives and have in our lives comes from those unconscious things that you know, the patternings and getting in our head and being dramatic with ourselves and over analyzing it instead of just straight up looking at it and going, okay. I'm going to exercise different muscle. At least that's what it seems like to me at this time. I was very surprised by how my dramatic sensibilities have, you know, kind of stimulated me in like every area of life. Especially when you're on this spiritual journey of awakening and you get addicted to that. You get over analytical about that. Don't do that. Waste your time doing that. Like Kathy just said, actually like shifting attention inside. You know, our mind will say that this isn't glamorous enough. This can't be. Well, where's the proof at? You know, that's not the approach.
Something I try to tell my mother on a regular basis. I don't need a 5-bedroom house. I don't need I don't need a brand new car. I don't need all of those clothes. Like, do you not understand? What I do need is to be my hippie self in the backyard barefoot with chickens. Leave me alone. Leave me alone with your needs, girl. Leave me alone. She's getting there. She's understanding more and more.
Yeah, just say, are you coming over to clean those 5 bedrooms?
Yeah.
You've seen my house cleaning skills. I did not inherit that from you, so I guess you're coming over to keep it puffed and nice.
Your mom too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like
you can't move out the rug.
We look at it. We don't live it.
We don't sit on it.
Yeah. My mom's not that bad. Like we definitely like do stuff, but it has to get picked up like right away. Dishes are done every night, counters are clean, bathrooms are wiped down every day.
Well, you're like rich. They have a maid.
See, she's not a snob. She knows to delegate.
She delegated to me, Kathy.
And she's taking you with her, and you go. You deserve what you get.
That's
Well,
Magickal.
she will call you at 4 o'clock in the night. Mom, there's this big bug over in my corner. I don't know. I hear rustling and rattling. No one's the last time you cleaned the kitchen here. Oh, 3 months ago. Well, may the force be with you. I'll be bringing you over some radar. Yeah. Good night.
That's what I tell her.
I won't kill you. You don't have to be Mother Supreme. But really, unless you plan on just living the life of Pigpen. You have to do
Monica. We need somebody to get some roommates.
And they'll be crying, Mom, can we come home?
No,
I do. My son does it. I just need some place to rest where I can be at peace. Yeah. How about being at peace where you live? Clean the room, put still in my incense, because I told you it works better if you clean the room. But I always feel so comfortable in the
But simply, Annika can live in that craziness. And she looks just fine in it. Yeah. And I'm like, this is what I'm like, Bryn, would you clean your room? I might have company over. Well, my bedroom. Why are they going to be going into my bedroom? I'm like, well, because.
What if they want to give you $1 million? And they won't give it to you because they can't get in your bloody room.
There is a walkway.
Oh, you think I'm giving you $1 million if I got to pick my way through the jungle? Oh, no, honey. I'm going to go and donate to that to some Chinese kid who does good in algebra. You know we love you, don't we?
Yeah.
We're just thinking of the fact that we're all dead and there's nobody to protect you. You're going to be making us come down here.
Oh, you're going down to do your dishes.
You have the most haunted house. Well, what's going on? All my moms. Can't do anything. They're all here. And none of them understand sound. You're not allowed. Yeah. Let's see if you got enough stage to manage all of us.
Probably not.
You blow one out of the kitchen window, the other one comes in through the toilet. It ain't gonna hurt us. We're dead. Have you heard of the Amityville horror? This is the Amityville horror. Mommy's from room to room.
Blows float above you.
You sleeping? Are you tired?
Really need to pick up your bed.
Oh, it's stuck in my feet now.
I'll nestle ready to take you with your husband.
Yeah.
She said glad to pay.
She wanted to come.
I know she did.
I love
She was like, might take her
Oh, shoot. We smell like quick answers.
This is why they having you here.
I know she's
Yes.
Yes. I was like, yeah, this is the week the caffeine's gonna be there.
Yeah, see?
That's
They
kind of
remembered. It was your week.
I plead the fifth. The universe has been talking to me too much. I lost temporary balance in the here and now.
No, the truth is that I figured out schedule because she's supposed to be here when I don't, or when I have Laura was next week. But I was here double weeks because I failed on one of the weeks I was supposed to be here, so I messed it up.
All three of you is like trifecta. So
Yeah. And then does anybody have any questions? Because we've got she's gone. I don't know what happened, but she's not there anymore. So that's why I like to sit across so I can watch to see is the little box still there. The little box.
I really got too loud for her.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, just I don't know, just in closing, like to consider what appears to be, what seems like is growing, and if all you can see is what's wanting to leave, you know, like what's growing alongside of that, you know, like what's coming alongside of these things meeting with you, like Kathy said, their strength, their confidence, their courage, spaciousness. You know, I don't know, but I think it's cool to look at it that way, not just, you know, what am I wanting to create? That's a cool question, but there's also like, what already is trying to work itself.
Might be something's growing that's pushing something out.
Well, for sure there is.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
I like to think of it as growing and pulling all of our parts together. It's growing, and we're finally achieving symbiosis with ourselves. There's funny Kathy, there's a Kathy that really, when she says she wants to be alone, better leave her alone.
Yes.
There's the Kathy that loves to be, there's the Kathy that loves to talk, there's the Kathy that loves to be quiet. Coming together and accepting all of your parts. All of your parts. The bitchy goddess needs love too. The bitchy goddess protects your kids. The bitchy goddess talks to that landlord who's encroaching on your rights. Every part of you is viable. It's learning when to use them. Now, if you're angry at somebody and the bitchy goddess is just randomly eating everybody that comes into her sphere, that's not good. But what I see us all as human beings, not as females or males, is achieving wholeness, is achieving total self-acceptance, just where we are, right here in this very moment. Everything is okay with me. Everything is okay. Because from there you take a step of power. Because if everything's okay, then whatever comes up next, you can handle it.
And something you talked about a while back was, when you end with the good of all and with harm to none, and then you can also say this or something better.
Oh yeah, that's always.
So you can, again, back to our 5-bedroom mansion with the golf course and the swimming pool and the fountain. So, I mean, if that really lights you up and that's really what you want, then go for it. I'm not telling you not to, but sometimes you can get caught up in details when the universe was like, oh, honey, I don't know. There's this over here. And it's so much better. But sometimes you see things this way, right? So be open to something that's even more awesome.
Yeah, my oracle card today, one of the oracle cards said, say yes to open basically the gate to the next door. Like, yeah. That's the secret. Okay, say yes to open the gate to the next door. Or gate to the next path or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're visualizing goals, does everybody know what I mean by visualizing goals? Because sometimes, like when we, you assume.
Like question myself.
I know. And I looked right at you when I said it. And I went off with my
Where you make yourself think. You want to visualize the outcome. You don't want to be a true female and visualize everything.
Yeah.
Because you will get lost.
Yes.
You will get lost.
There's no focus.
There's not. It just scatters your energy all over the universe. Now there are 3,000 little angels going in 3,000 different directions trying to get you something that you probably won't ever ask for. So when you visualize, I could not visualize what in the heck I wanted when I got my first toy. I couldn't. It just hurt too much. I couldn't say anything but peace. That's all I wanted was peace. That was my mantra and everything. What do you want? Peace. What do you want? Because there was no peace inside. There was no peace outside. I just wanted peace. Don't try to make it something grandiose if all you really want is just the weekend to yourself. See yourself eating that chocolate cookie with no little teeth asking to join you. See yourself playing all the Batman movies and know somehow how are you going to watch his butt? Because that Val Kilmer's Batman was both Batman. Mom, whose TV is it?
I know. It's a jaw. It's a jaw line.
Oh my God. I never thought rubber was attractive, but that's really it for me. It's just visualize. Simply visualize the smile on your face when you get what you want. That is powerful. Oh my God, this feels so good. Visualize that. Do not get yourself so caught up in painting the picture that you lose focus.
So there's something you're working towards. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like?
Hope it smells. How did that happen?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Unless the dingers.
Did the dingers?
Maybe it's Mr. Prince Charming through the door. Do we smell him?
Oh, the dinger's just going on. Okay, I'll just unplug the dinger. How is it?
Well,
just
somebody's
going off?
visiting.
That's so. Yeah, I think it's just on the fritz. Maybe I bet you the battery's low. Yeah. And if there is a ghost, we can get rid of it. Don't worry.
Well, let's ask it what it wants.
Yeah.
From here.
That's true. If it needs help,
It evidently
we should
wants
kick it
us
out.
to know something.
I think it's just a little bad. Okay, but yeah, like so when you're in whatever's going on now, when you're bringing the end result to you, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? How does it make you feel? You know.
Remember that all of us have got some sense that's going to be stronger. If you're not a gustatory person, you don't have to say it's failing because you can't smell it. No. If you are a sensing person and you sense how it feels, then go with that. Go with the one that's stronger. Because not everybody is gustatory. Not everybody is visual. It's about sensing how the picture looks. So go with what's your strength. Not, again, dissipate energy trying to feel something you are not capable of. Not you. Just like everybody has psychic abilities, none of us are crazy enough to come here with all of them working. You just may as well say, shoot me when I land. One's going to be stronger. You can be a clairvoyant or you can clairsentient. The clairsentient can be a clairvoyant. You just don't see pictures, you sense them. And that's viable because that's where your gift is the strongest. Look at where it's the strongest. Oh my God, you get chills, physically chills about how good it feels. Then you are a sensing person and you sense with your body. So let that be what you put in your visualization. My God, this feels so good. It feels so good. I feel goosebumps because that's how you get your psychic perception. When you know something's right, either your flesh stands up or your hair stands up, but it's a physical. So that's your strongest. And then there'll be a second strongest one and so on down the line. But just don't be silly enough to turn all 5 of them on it. Unless you like that. All the books and everything are written for all of us, but only certain pages are written to us. So when you read a book, when you practice something and everything in you says, I can't do that, acknowledge and honor what you know you can't do, and then shift to what you can. And therefore, you get more what you can.
When I did my first Reiki training when I was 18, Danielle was Danielle DeBoa was one of our leaders and teachers here for many years, and she was my first teacher. And she, I remember being in one of her classes, and people are seeing auras and stuff, and I'm like, I had nothing. She's like, okay, so if you were to feel it, what would it feel like to you? And I just looked at her because in my brain, I'm supposed to be seeing something. And I'm like, I just didn't trust it. I didn't trust that was enough, right? Because I'm supposed to see it. And she said, okay, well, you just make it act like, make it up if you have. She could see that I was stuck on this, like, I gotta be a good girl and do it the right way. And I'm not seeing anything. And so I started to share what I saw or felt. So it was sensing. And she's like, you have an amazing sensory perception. Please stop doubting it. Was she right? Yes, 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 yes. There was like a panel of people who were supposed to read my yes, yes, this is what I'm doing. And I was like, whoa. So I've had to keep practicing that and remembering that and not feeling like I'm supposed to develop this and someday I'm going to get it when I get there, and like just let all that go.
I've seen auras a couple times, but usually, like, I don't, you know, I
You don't
get visions
panic.
sometimes I dream something, but I'm sensorial and I just know. And that's tricky because there's no, you can't say, well, they told me, or I saw a vision or whatever, and like have this little training wheel. For me, it feels like a training wheel. It's like, I have zero proof, zero evidence. I just know. And so it's very, you know, that's valid. That's a valid thing. I just want to share that. What Kathy was just saying, and it was scary for me. Like, how we're told not to trust that, you know, we're told only to trust this. So test it. Yeah, they were testing it.
I feel like we're, awesome.
Happy relaxing. Did you see it last night? This little sliver.
That's
it's
my
so
favorite.
beautiful.
And there's just the little teeny
Just enough to put the ice cream on. Just enough to hold it so you gotta eat really fast.
I was looking at it on my way out of this event. That was, and I had one last cool interaction with a dude on my way out. That was just, and the woman right there stopped. Really lovely, like closure to that experimental, enjoyable evening. And the sky was almost like it was inky, but there was a little bit of purpley orange in it because it was about 10-ish, like after 10, and just this golden sliver of the moon, and then I don't know if Venus is over there. Yeah. I was like, dude, look at this. And it's like, goddesses over there, something like that. And I'm like,
Goddesses.
yeah, she is. This is a great exclamation point for them. Yeah, so maybe you'll see it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel like we're
here.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for staying, Kathy. I'm sorry I had to leave early.
Well, what time is it?
No.
8:45. Gotta be close. It's 8:47.
Oh, can I manifest?
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop the recording. Bye, everybody. Bye. And then